Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny TCG. I'm excited to see you here today. Today I got more games featuring the OP10 leader Trafalgar Law, a green-yellow 4-life leader that is one of my favorites to play recently. His leader ability allows for a lot of interesting combos, and then of course he did get some new support between the new Bonnie starter deck and OP11. For those reasons, I find he's so much more fun to play nowadays. I wonder if you feel the same. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. Now, I did just do a deep deck profile on this leader and this deck list. I'll throw it up on screen. I'll put the link to it in the comments down below. If you're interested in seeing a deep deck profile, looking at all the cards in this deck, seeing even more gameplay, definitely check that video out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Today, I've got a best 2 out of 3 series with a purple black Luffy that is also upgraded with the new starter deck support. That new purple black Luffy, when he becomes a 7,000 power leader every turn with the new beer Luffy, man, he's just a menace. That'll make a really interesting matchup just because we can do so many crazy combos, cheating bodies out of life, cheating bodies back to our hand. They can do a lot of shenanigans too, a 7k base power leader. Then of course they've got big menacing bodies like the 9-cost Rush Luffy from OP09 and the new Katakuri. Before we get into the games, if you're new to the channel, we do a giveaway in just about every single video. Today we're going to be giving away a custom Trafalgar Law leader card using art from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. I am not the artist, I am not claiming to be the artist. This card is not for sale. This is just a fun personal fan project. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. It's as simple as that. If this video gets 20 likes in the first 24 hours, I'll randomly choose a US based commenter and send it to you completely free. That's all you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. And if you want to support the channel, if you want to stay up to date with all the videos I'm putting out, which there's a lot more coming, stay tuned for that, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It's free, it's easy, it's painless, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that subscribe button. I'm watching you. I'll give you a moment. Did you do it yet? Alright, that's enough cringe jokes for me. Editor, roll the gameplay.
In our first game, we're going to be able to choose the turn order. We are going to go second. We don't have any of our 5-cost bodies that we like to see, but we do have a couple of searchers. We've got the 3-cost Bonnie blocker as well, which is a great card. Off our Luffy search, we will find that 5-cost Cavendish, which is amazing. Unfortunately, if this purple-black Luffy player is running the starter deck 14 Sanji, they will be able to remove it very easily. 3 Don for us to work with here. I'm thinking going Jewelry Bonnie, Searcher, doing a search with that, looking to see what we can find. I'm leaning towards that 2-cost Capone Beige. That'll help us keep the 5-cost Cavendish on the field so we won't have to worry about the starter deck 14 Sanji. Now we're going to swing 6,000 with our leader. They'll take that hit. We'll pass it back to them. That Jewelry Bonnie will definitely get removed by their 2,000 power Trafalgar Law. For 3 Don, they'll play down the 3-cost Zoro, doing some ramp shenanigans. Then they're going to swing 8,000 at us, which we will take. 5 Don for us to work with. There's not a way for us to play down the 3-cost Bonnie and then pull some leader shenanigans, I don't think, unless we were to get like a 1-cost Luffy out of life. So we're just going to clear the Trafalgar Law Searcher. We're going to swing 5,000 with our leader. Then we're going to play down the 5-cost Cavendish into the 2-cost Capone Beige blocker. 5,000 with our leader. They're really thinking this one through. They will give us a 1k counter. We'll play down the Cavendish and the Beige and pass it back to them. This Beige will really help protect our Cavendish, which is amazing. They're going to clear our Luffy blocker, which makes a lot of sense because we can bounce that back to our hand with our leader ability. On curve, they are going to have that 6-cost beer Luffy, which is going to be rough for us to deal with because now they're a 7,000 power leader. Off the Law Search, they're going to find an EBO2 blocker Law. Then they're going to swing 8,000 at us, which we will take. It's going to be a 7 Don turn for us, and we are actually, and I think our best bet's going to be playing down this 7-cost Trafalgar Law that we just got out of our life. We'll put the 3-cost Jewelry Bonnie blocker at the top of our life, give a Don to our leader. Then we'll swing with Cavendish into their rested Zoro, trying to clear that off the board. We're able to restand 2 Don. They will let the Zoro go, which is great news for us. And then we're just going to swing big into their leader, 7,000 or 8,000 with our leader. They'll have to give us a 2k, which I wouldn't be surprised if they do. There's not going to be an easy way for us to deal with this beer Luffy, so that's a little bit awkward. We do have a Hody Jones in hand. We do have that 8-cost Kid too, who would be very nice to play. They're going to be at 9 Don. I'm really intimidated by this turn. They will establish that 8-cost Katakuri blocker. They're going to swing 7,000 with their beer Luffy into our Cavendish. We do not want to let this Cavendish go. I'm thinking we counter out of this. We've got a lot of 2k Zeuses in our hand, so it makes sense to me to get rid of a Zeus here. 2 Don still left up for them to work with. They're going to swing 8,000 into the Cavendish, and we will block with the Beige. We'll see if that was a good idea or not. Before we play out the 8-cost Kid, we're going to start out with a 9,000 power swing into the beer Luffy, 9,000 into 7,000. I would love to remove it this turn. Hopefully, they do have that 8 cost blocker, 8,000 power Katakuri on the board. They also have a Don up, so it is not a guarantee that we'll be able to remove it. At least we have this 8 cost kid. We also could potentially play down the Hody Jones, resting one of their Don cards and their Katakuri blocker. I don't hate that idea. It might be a little bit greedy, a little bit overambitious. Maybe I should just establish the 8 cost kid. We'll see though. They're thinking this one through. Are they going to let me have it? They will not. They're going to block with Katakuri and then also play a 2K counter to keep that Katakuri alive. Decisions here, folks. Do I play down the kid? Do I play down the Hody Jones? Let me know what you would do in the comments down below. I am going to go with the Hody Jones here, resting one of their Don. I guess I should have done that before I swung with the Supernova Law. 7 cost, 9,000 power, but I didn't know what they were going to do. I'm going to swing 7,000 now with our Cavendish, which they will 1K counter out of. I give a Don to my Hody before I give 2 Don to my leader, and I'm doing this out of sequence, so this was definitely not my best play ever. I'm going to swing 7,000 with Trafalgar Law into Beer Luffy. They will 1K counter out of that. Now I'm going to do a 9,000 power swing with Hody into the Beer Luffy. Please don't tell me they have the counter for that. They don't. They let it go. It was also tempting to swing into the Katakuri. I don't think that would have been a terrible idea either, but I had to clear the Beer Luffy off the board, so I'm really happy they didn't counter with whatever they had in hand. 10 Don for them to work with. This could be a scary turn, though. If they drop the 9 cost Rush Luffy, for example, that would be brutal for us. They could play another Beer Luffy, but I'm not super worried about that. Unfortunately, my fears came true, and they do have that 9 cost Rush Luffy. They're probably going to try to clear the Cavendish off the board here, or just go into my life, I guess. 7,000 with their leader into my life. I'm thinking maybe we take this just so that they don't go into the Cavendish. We're going to take that. We get the 3 cost Jewelry Bonnie blocker. Now 8,000 with Katakuri into our life again. This is definitely a little bit of a pickle because if I counter out of this, they might just try to clear my board, which they'll likely be able to do. Or if I don't counter out of it, they're going to swing big into life or my board, and I'm going to have to give up even more counter. I am going to take that. They are going to swing 10,000 into my life, and I am going to have the counter, but I'm going to have to give up a ton of cards from hand. 4 cards from hand, folks. That's a ton. They're not going to leave any Don up for a Gum Gum Giant. Unfortunately, with the current state of our hand, I think we might just be cooked. We're going to play down the 8 cost Eustace Captain Kidd. We will be able to give him a Don, but before we do that, maybe we should swing first with maybe Cavendish or Hody Jones. I'm thinking here we swing 6,000 with Cavendish into life. If they free block this with Katakuri, that's actually probably the best case scenario because then we could try to swing into the Katakuri and get rid of it. 6,000 into 5,000. I would not be surprised if they take this, and they will take it. Now I'll follow that up with the 6,000 power swing from our leader into their life. 4 cards in hand. I imagine they'll counter out of this or block it. They'll take that. I think they're just looking for more cards and more ways to win next turn. I don't have a lot of counter in hand. I don't have any life left. I think that they're going to be able to remove this kid relatively easily and then just put us out of our misery. Now I give it down to Eustace Captain Kidd just so I don't forget. We'll swing 9,000 into life here with our 7 cost Law, and they'll take that as well. There's no way they don't have this counter, folks. They are just kind of playing with us. 10,000 with Hody Jones. They'll block with Katakuri, and they will counter out to keep this Katakuri alive. Now we'll rest our Eustace Captain Kidd, cheat out a 3 cost Bonnie, and pass it back to them. We only have 2k of counter in our hand, and that is not going to be enough. They do have the Uso Hachi to rest our Jewelry Bonnie blocker. That is a big time bummer. Now they're going to swing 12,000 into our Eustace Captain Kidd. We can't counter out of that. And now 13,000 with Katakuri into our life. That's game. GG's. Hopefully they let me get the rematch. They will let me get the rematch. I want to redeem myself against them. I don't even think I had any major misplays last game. They just saw what they needed to see. Maybe playing down Hody Jones wasn't the best idea, but I don't know. I regret nothing. Actually, I do have a couple of things I regret. Maybe countering and taking those hits at the end of the game wasn't my best idea. We're going to start off with a Monkey D. Luffy search. We will play out another Monkey D. Luffy. We are on the odd curve. In hindsight, I wonder if I should have taken the 2 cost beige blocker there. I will take the Scratch Manapoo because Scratch Manapoo is a 2k counter and I didn't have any others in my hand. Now I'm going to swing 5,000 with my leader. They will take that, and then I'll do a Jewelry Bonnie search off the Jewelry Bonnie. We have a lot of good options to choose from. We're going to go with the Cavendish, but I don't think I could have went wrong with the 7 cost Law or the 5 cost Jewelry Bonnie either. We'll be able to get this Cavendish out next turn. We might even be able to cheat it out with the 3 cost Jewelry Bonnie. We'll see. They're going to play down the 3 cost Nico Robin, ramp down, then they're going to swing 8,000 into our Jewelry Bonnie searcher. We are, of course, going to let that go. then they'll pass it back to me with 5 Don to work with. This next turn I can kind of go crazy. I don't have a 2-cost beige, which makes me a little bit nervous, but I'm thinking here we go with the 3-cost Bonnie blocker. We can put a card at the top of the life. I'm thinking we do that with Cavendish. We'll give a Don to our leader, then use leader ability, send back a searcher to our hand, play the Cavendish. That gives us 3 Don. I should play the 1-cost Luffy searcher again here, looking for that 2-cost beige. We do find it. Wow, that was like a heaven sent card, folks. 6,000 now with our leader into their leader. They'll 2k counter out of that, and now we'll throw down the 2-cost beige, protecting our Cavendish. You love to see that. We've got a full board, folks. We are in a great position. They've got 7 Don to work with. They could play Beer Luffy, but I really like where we're at right now. We could also see maybe the 7-cost Sanji that rests one of our characters. Again, not really too worried about that, folks. We don't have a lot of counter in hand. We have 2 2Ks. We would love some more. Next turn, we're going to be able to play out that 7-cost Secret Rare Trafalgar Law. They will have the 7-cost Sanji. They're going to be able to rest my 2-cost beige and get rid of it, swing 4,000 to it with Nico Robin. I'm considering blocking out of it, but I just gotta let it go, unfortunately. 6,000 now with their leader into our life. I am gonna 2k counter out of this just to keep my life a little bit healthy, and then 7,000 with their Sanji into our life. Maybe I didn't need to block that. I probably really shouldn't have blocked that. I probably should have just taken that because I'm going to be able to put a card at our life anyway with our 7-cost Trafalgar Law. The question is, who do we want to put at the top of our life? I'm thinking maybe this 5-cost Bonnie, which will freeze their 7-cost Sanji. That seems like a good idea to me. We could also do the 5-cost Trafalgar Law blocker. In hindsight, that's not a bad idea, folks. There's so many great options with this deck. There's so many play lines. It's so hard to tell sometimes what to do. 6,000 now with Cavendish into their leader. Maybe I should have considered swinging into Nico Robin. No, that's a dumb idea. Forget I even said that, folks. They'll 2k counter out of that. 2 Don up now because of Cavendish's ability. I'm thinking we just give this to our leader and swing into life. I could also swing into the 7-cost rested Sanji and then use leader ability to cheat out Bonnie and freeze one of their Don cards. If I do that, they won't be able to play the 9-cost Rush Luffy next turn, which would be huge if that's their plan. I'm going to swing 8,000 into the Sanji. They'll give us the 2k counter, which is fine with us because now we're going to be able to freeze it using Jewelry Bonnie, and then we'll pass it back to them. 9 Don for them to work with. Unfortunately, they made me immediately regret not freezing their Don and freezing their Sanji instead. With the 9-drop starter deck for Kaido, which is not a card you see often anymore, they're able to pop my Jewelry Bonnie. Then they're going to be able to clear this Cavendish. I'm going to save it one time with a 1k counter, and then they're going to swing into it with their Kaido, and I've got to let it go. That was such a bummer, folks. I have no great way to deal with this Kaido. We're going to start off by swinging 9,000 now with Trafalgar Law into... Should we get rid of the Sanji or try to get rid of the Sanji? I think that's the move, folks. Try to get some pressure off of us. 9,000 into 7,000, and then we'll probably establish the 8-cost Useless Captain Kidd. I am pleasantly surprised they let that Sanji go. Now, instead of the 8-cost Useless Captain Kidd, I'm actually thinking we play out the beige and set the top of our life. We find a 7-cost Law, which is perfect in this situation. We put a 5-cost Law at the top of our life, and then we're actually going to play on the 7-cost Law. We're going to be able to put another 5-cost Law at the top of our life. We're going to give our leader 2 Don. We're going to do a kind of crazy play here, folks. We're going to swing 7,000 now with our leader. They'll take that. They might be bricked up in hand with no counter. Now we'll do leader shenanigans. I'll send back the 2k counter beige to my hand. Then I'll play out the 5-cost Law from the top of my life. I'm able to send back a 1-cost Luffy searcher to my hand, play it back out with the 5-cost Law. Finding that 2-cost beige blocker is pretty solid. I can play that out with the 5 or 8-cost Useless Captain Kidd next turn. I really like that idea. They're only at 8 down here, which is huge for us because if they were at 9 down, they might have been able to play Rush Luffy or another 9-cost Kaido. That would have been able to apply a lot of pressure, but instead they have to go with the 4-cost Frankie. An 8-cost Katakuri there would have been really solid too. Off Frankie's ability, they are going to be able to trash 1, draw 2. They're going to use God Thread to get rid of my 5-cost Law blocker. Not too shabby for them. Definitely, they got a Don up still, probably for Gum Gum Giant. They're going to swing 5,000 at us now with their leader. Then we're going to have to deal with the 9,000 power Kaido swing. The question is, do I want to use any counter? I am not. I'm going to take that 5-cost Law. In hindsight, I think I should have countered that swing, but I wanted to keep the counter in my hand to protect our 7-cost Law that's rested in case they swing into him with Kaido. If they swing into him with Kaido, I can use the Zeus and Capone Beige as counter. They're going to give a Don to Kaido and swing 11,000 into the law. We are going to be able to counter out of this. The question is, do I want to do two 2Ks or 2K and a 1K? This might be kind of crazy and in hindsight may be wrong, but I am going to counter out with the 2-cost beige blocker that I had originally planned on cheating out with the 8-cost Eustace Captain Kid. Here, I might even be able to push for a game, but if I do play out the Eustace Captain Kid, maybe I play down the 1-cost beige off the Eustace Captain Kid as well, and then I can put that 5-cost law at the top of my life and then play out him as a blocker. Ooh, we'll see though, folks, and then we'll be able to send back the 1-cost beige back into our hand. We're going to start out by giving our leader 1 Don, just so we don't forget. We're going to play down this 8-cost Eustace Captain Kid. We're going to rest him, play down the 1-cost beige to take the top of our life, play out the 5-cost law to go with it. Then here we can swing 6,000, 9,000, 9,000, and then give a Don to our Eustace Captain Kid. I accidentally forget though, folks. I am actually cooked. I am so embarrassed. I am so annoyed at myself. I forgot to give a Don to my Eustace Captain Kid. This is why sometimes I need to do plays out of ideal order, just so I don't forget, oh my god, I feel like a fool. 7,000 into their leader now with our law, which they will take. Honestly, there is a small chance that we do win here. 9,000 now with our other law into their life, and then 9,000 again with our remaining law. 3 law swings this turn, folks. Now, I'm debating here if it even makes sense to use leader ability since we don't have a Don attached to Kid, and I'm thinking it doesn't. That is another misplay, folks, though. I should have used leader ability just to send the 2K counter beige back into my hand. I wouldn't have to play the 5-cost law for my life. So that's 2 major misplays that might cost me the game here, folks. They've got the 9-cost rush Luffy. While this is bad and certainly unideal, I think we're fine. We have 3K of counter in our hand, and we'll be able to counter out of this swing. They won't be able to clear all of our big bodies off the board, and with no Don left up at the end of this turn, we'll easily be able to go for game. We will counter out of this first 7,000 power swing with their leader. Then they're going to swing 10,000 with Kaido in the law. We'll just let it go. We have to. Then they'll clear the other law with the Luffy, and now we'll just throw a bunch of down on our 8-cost Kid and swing really big into life. Once I actually start to swing, I do get a little bit nervous. They've got a ton of cards in hand, and yeah, I mean, is it possible they counter out of this? They've got a ton of 2Ks, folks, but then they can't. They did have that Gum Gum Giant in hand, which they did not leave a Don up for. In hindsight, I bet they wish they only swung for 6,000 with their leader and left the Don up for Gum Gum Giant, because if they did, they might have won that game, depending on what else they had at the top of their deck besides the Kaido that they would have drawn. We're going to do a rematch, best 2 out of 3, folks. We are going to be going first. We like going first, of course. I'm thinking here we play down the 1-cost Monkey D. Luffy Searcher. Off of our search, we do have a couple of good options, but I'm going to go with the 7-cost Secret Rare Trafalgar Law. That'll definitely come in handy later on in the game, especially our 7 Don turn. They're going to play down a double Law Searcher now on their first turn. The first one's going to find them an Usohachi 2K. The other one is going to find them a Frankie Blocker. Now 3 Don up for us to work with. We're not going to be able to use leader ability shenanigans here. Maybe I just do a Kid and Killer search and then swing 6, or do I do a Kid and Killer and then also play down the Jewelry Bonnie and just not search with her this turn? Off the Kid and Killer, we will have another couple of great options. We've got the 3-cost Jewelry Bonnie blocker. We've got the 5-cost Law blocker. We even have that spicy 5-cost starter deck 2 Trafalgar Law. I don't know if it would be crazy for me to put the 1-cost Jewelry Bonnie down on the board right now, even though I can't search with her. I'm just going to swing 6,000 with our leader instead. They will take that hit and then we'll pass it back to them. We are set up very nicely to do leader ability next turn. They're going to play down a Bond Clay, ramp a Don, then swing 6,000 at us. We'll take that and we get another 1-cost Luffy. Now 5 Don for us to work with. I'm thinking here we do the 3-cost Bonnie combo, playing down Bonnie, putting a Cavendish most likely at the top of our life. Cavendish is just so strong, it's hard not to cheat him out as soon as possible anytime we get the chance. Before we swing with our leader, we are going to use leader ability, sending the 1-cost Monkey D. Luffy back into our hand, then playing out the Cavendish, restanding 2 Don. We're going to swing 6,000 now with our leader into their life. Will they give us a 2K? And they will. Then we'll play down the 2-cost beige blocker. That'll help put one of our characters at the top of our life if they try to remove it via effects. Off of the Luffy search, we take the 5-cost Jewelry Bonnie. That will be a great card to either freeze one of their rested characters or Don cards. We'll pass it back to them. They've got 7 Don to work with, and they'll play out the 7-cost Sanji from OP09. They're going to return some Don, rest my 2-cost beige blocker. That's a little bit of a bummer. They're going to be able to clear that with just a 2000 power Law Searcher swing. Of course, we're going to let that go. Then they're going to have swings with Bon Clay, Sanji, and their leader. Now they're going to add a Don to their leader, swing 6000 with their leader into our life. I'm leaning towards taking this, which might be a little bit sketchy. I just don't have any 2Ks in my hand, and if I give them two 1Ks, that'll show, of course, that I don't have any 2Ks. Now they're going to swing 7000 with the Sanji. I will block that with Jewelry Bonnie, and they won't swing with the Bon Clay, which is a very interesting choice. We are going to play down the 7-cost Trafalgar Law Secret Rare, add a Law to the top of our life. We're going to be able to now do leader ability, but first we'll swing 6000 with Cavendish to restand some Don, 6000 into their leader. They will 2K counter out of that. I'll swing 2000 into their Law Searcher. Not that it makes much of a difference, but I'll do that with our Monkey D. Luffy Searcher. They let it go, of course. Before I do a leader swing, I will use leader ability, sending the 1-cost Monkey D. Luffy Searcher back to our hand, playing out the 5-cost Law. The 5-cost Law bounces back the Kidding Killer Searcher to our hand, and then off the Law, I'm thinking we play the 2-cost Beige blocker. Going double blocker here will be very nice. A Searcher wouldn't have been a terrible idea either, but since I'm not able to clear their board really, I think going double blocker is the move. Now I'm going to swing 6000 with our leader. They take that, and I might be crazy here, folks. Let me know in the comments down below if this play is absolutely ridiculous or actually decent. I'm thinking here we play down the 2-cost Zeus to pop their Bon Clay. It feels bad getting rid of the only 2K counter in my hand, and it feels bad taking a life, of course, but that Bon Clay is going to be a 9000 power body once it copies our 7-cost Law. So I did what I did. We lose a life card, we add it to our hand. We do get another 2K from our life though, which is good news. Now passing it back to them, they're going to play down the Beer Luffy and give it Don to their Sanji, swinging 8000 into Cavendish. Now, I think there is an argument to try to keep that alive, but I let it go. I need some room on my board anyway, and I want to keep the counter. I'm at 0 life, and I do have 2 blockers, but I feel like I need to be a little bit responsible and keep some counter in my hand. I'll block with the Beige on that big leader swing from them, and they'll pass it back to us. 9 Don for us to work with. Man, I wish I had another 7-cost Law. We're going to start out by giving a Don to our leader, just so we don't forget to use our leader ability, not even to play anything out, but just to bounce something back to hand. We'll play down the Monkey D. Luffy Searcher. We find a 2K counter Beige, which is perfect. I'm thinking here maybe we go another 5-cost Law. The 5-cost Jewelry Bonnie is not a bad idea either. I think I prefer the Law play though, just because we're going to be able to send cards back to our hand and then just keep doing some searches. We'll do another Monkey D. Luffy search, and we're going to take a 2K here. The question is, do we take Scratch Man and Pooh or the Beige? We'll go with Scratch Man and Pooh. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. Now with 2 Don left up, we are going to use leader ability. We're going to send a Luffy back to our hand again, give a Don to our leader, and we'll swing 7 into their life. I could be swinging into the Sanji now, but I don't really know if it makes too much of a difference. They're going to 1K counter out of the 7000 power leader swing, then a 9000 power swing into the leader. And again, I don't really know if it makes much of a difference. I think ideally I get rid of the Sanji, but I just feel like there's no way they let that Sanji go. Now we're going to use our 1 remaining Don to play out the Luffy Searcher. We find another 2K, which is huge. We have so many 2Ks in our hand, folks. Now they're going to have that 9-cost Rush Luffy, and this is going to be a little bit intense. They're going to be able to put a ton of pressure on us this turn. I will be able to survive. The question is, do I want to protect my board at all? 7,000 starting off into our life. I am going to counter out of this, I think, with the 2K, 1K. The question is, am I going to block and counter any of these attacks? I initially do think maybe I should block this with the Law, but I'm just going to counter out of it because it is the smallest guaranteed swing. Now they're going to swing 7,000 with their Sanji. Should I block and counter? This might be a little bit foolish, folks. Let me know in the comments down below if this is absolutely ridiculous. Now they're going to swing 8,000 into our Trafalgar Law. I think here maybe I should have just let it go, but I am going to counter again with a 2K, 1K, and then they'll have a 10,000 power swing with their leader, or not their leader, oh my god, their 9-cost Rush Luffy. 10,000 into our leader. Again, I should just block this, and then I think the countering's a little bit overdone, folks. You can roast me in the comments down below. I would love your feedback. I might be cooked after this turn, though. We do top deck a Hody, which is interesting. This might be divine intervention willing us to win. This might be the universe conspiring to make sure we win. With the Hody Jones, we'll be able to rest their Don card, which is presumably for a Gum Gum Giant. I'll use leader ability first just to get that Monkey D. Luffy Searcher back into my hand. And folks, I am so sorry to say that I forgot that they were a 7K base leader and that I can't really go for game here. I could, but I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to go for game when they're a 7,000 power leader. They have 4 cards in their hand. They have 2 life cards. I think that's just irresponsible. At this point, though, I don't really know if I have any other options. I'll play down the Hody anyway, just to rest that down card and try to clear their board. I'll start with the Monkey D. Luffy swing into the Law Searcher. Nothing crazy there. They let that go. Now I'm debating who else to swing into. Maybe I swing 8,000 into the Beer Luffy. This is bad news, folks. I also could have played the Law Blocker, but I don't really think that would have been enough. We're going to swing 9,000 into the Beer Luffy with our Trafalgar Law Secret Rare. Will they be able to counter out of this? If they can't, that's a great sign. They will not. Now we're going to swing big with Hody Jones into the Sanji. Maybe I just give him 1 down and swing 9,000 into the Sanji, and they'll have to give me a 2k, 1k if they want to keep it alive. Will they be able to do that? That is the question. It's crazy that if they weren't a 7,000 power leader right now, we probably would have gotten game. 9,000 into 7,000, they're really thinking about this. It could decide the fate of the game. They will counter out to keep that Sanji alive. Now we're going to swing 7,000 with our leader into the Sanji. They let it go. No more counter in their hand, perhaps. Now they've got 10 down to work with. This can still be bad, but depending on how they break down their swings, maybe we survive. They're going to swing 10,000. We've got to counter out of that or block out of that. 10 down still for them to work with, folks. They've got the Rush Luffy from EBO2, and we are cooked. What a bummer, folks. That was a tough game. I felt like we got off to a really great start and maybe stumbled along the mid game. The fact of the matter is I had a couple misplays, and yeah, we just learn from them and move on. I hope you enjoyed the games today, folks. Big shout out to my opponent for playing 3 great games with me. GG's.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. Unfortunately, we couldn't win the series. We went 1-2 against this purple black Luffy player. I really feel like that last game was in our reach, but we just couldn't get to him because they were a 7k leader. I'm telling you, do not sleep on Beer Luffy, especially in the purple black Luffy leader. Now, that's all I got for you today. If you liked the video, consider hitting that like button down below. If you like the content, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. If you made it this far in the video, you are an absolute real one. I hope to see you again, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Peace. But seriously, don't forget to subscribe. I'm counting on you.